Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today, in the yet another series of the Confab Lab, we shall be discussing very recent and controversial topic, that is Section 377, in the light of Suresh Kaushal versus NAS Foundation. And along with us in the panel, we have Mr. KTS Tulsi, Senior Counsel, Supreme Court of India, and the Science Star from the Galaxy, and a member from the Rajya Sabha. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We'll be starting our discussion with the present status of the case. In this case, Supreme Court has accepted the curative petition, and Supreme Court has signaled some kind of inclination to relook into the issue. Do you think that Supreme Court is trying to correct the mistakes which it has done in the previous judgment, or this judgment is per se an in curiam judgment?
No, the Supreme Court does feel that the previous case is not rightly decided.
Okay.
That's why they are reconsidering it.
Okay.
And perhaps this matter will go to a larger bench.
Okay. So, sir, don't you think that Supreme Court has accepted in the curative petition and they have signaled some kind of inclination? So, the previous judgment was a per in curiam judgment. All the legal aspects were not taken care into account properly.
That's what it appears, because they feel that the previous judgment is in conflict with other judgments.
Okay.
And the law needs to be clarified.
Okay, perfect. Sir, another question which comes before us, Supreme Court has restored this entire Section 377 into archaic ingloriousness. They have said that the morality is the main concept, and this is one of the reasons on the basis of which they have given the judgment. Don't you think that the constitutional morality should be put on the higher pedestal rather than the normal morality which people are talking about?
I think there is no question of morality in this case.
Okay.
If we are born with a particular color of our skin,
Okay.
it can't be a question of morality.
Okay. But sir,
just as you can't change the color, you're born with certain proclivity.
Okay.
The medical science has established that it is not of your own volition. You are made in a particular fashion by God.
Okay.
And you can't even change that. So therefore, how can you punish somebody with a special proclivity? He is not intending to do it. He is subconsciously driven to do it.
Okay.
And therefore, merely because persons have different proclivity, it can't be treated as a crime. For a crime, you have to have the intention, the mens rea.
Okay.
This person doesn't have mens rea. He is made in a different way.
Okay. Sir, in this entire discussion, the focal point of the debate has been that the Parliament has the right to abrogate Section 377 and the Supreme Court cannot step into it.
No, Supreme Court can declare this unconstitutional.
Okay.
A person born with a certain proclivity.
Okay.
Can one say that people who are dark skinned will not have any rights under the Constitution? Can you strip them of their rights only because they have a color of a skin which is offensive to you? So similarly, because they have a proclivity of same sex attraction, you can't say that this is disturbing morality. This is how they are made, and this is not an odd thing. From times immemorial, we've had people who've had this proclivity, and they've lived peacefully with others.
Sir, what is your opinion about the issue that in this entire case, in this entire judgment, the demosprudence has been followed and not the jurisprudence? As in, the popular opinion has been followed, which is reflected in the judgment. What is your opinion about that?
I don't agree with this judgment. I think the High Court judgment was correct.
Indeed.
And in this case, you are saying that Parliament does not have to. Parliament also has the power, but that's not a ground for the courts to say, constitutional courts, to be able to determine the legitimacy of this provision. If it is unreasonable, if it is vague, if the other person, without intending to do a certain thing, he is not causing harm, so long as it is consensual, I don't think there can be a crime. If both persons are adult and both are having an affair or relationship or a marriage, how is the society getting affected? What's immoral about it?
Sir, there was one more point which came in this debate, in this discussion, that Parliament is the sole authority, and if Supreme Court is saying that this Section 377 is unconstitutional, Supreme Court is encroaching in the sphere of the Parliament.
No. Interpretation, whether a particular offence, penal offence, is in consonance with the constitutional provisions or not is the question.
Okay.
Is it a reasonable restriction that you are having a natural proclivity towards same sex? You are both adults. You are not creating violence on the streets. You are not creating disorder. You are not killing people. What is the offence that you are committing? That both persons of the same sex become friends and they have sexual relations. If both of them are doing voluntarily, what crime are they committing? So therefore 377 was incorporated in the penal code at a time when medical science had not established that whether this is done voluntarily or involuntarily. So long as an involuntary action is concerned, you can't punish people, you can't send them to jail.
Sir, one other factor of this case has been that number of the people from the LGBT community is not so high. And that has been one of the reasons the Justice G.S. Singhvi has said in the case, the number is not so high, therefore it would not affect, the judgment would not affect per se to this community.
I don't agree with that view. Even if there is one person whose right is being taken away, it should be declared unconstitutional.
That has been the spirit of the Constitution, that the Constitution should respect the last person who is standing in the last line. Indeed,
yes.
Sir, one more question is that this offence, Section 377, has been categorized under Chapter 16 of the Indian Penal Code. The heading of it says that offence affecting the human body, and not under Chapter 14 of the Indian Penal Code, which talks about the public morals. So what is your opinion about that? That why did Supreme Court interpreted this Section 377 under the heading of Chapter 14 itself? Because court took the view of the public morality. Court pondered upon this question.
No, but you can't take away the liberty of a person who is keyed up in a particular fashion.
Okay.
By nature. He is not done a surgery.
Okay.
He is born with that proclivity. How can you punish him for being what he is naturally made into?
Sir, one very important question through the lenses of constitutional law. In this case, Article 14, Article 15, Article 19, which has not been enumerated in the case, and Article 21, all has been violated. But the court said court did not accept the arguments. What is your opinion about it?
I think that the judgment is completely wrong.
Okay.
And it needs to be looked at afresh from the standpoint of constitutionality.
Okay.
You can't treat LGBT people to be less human.
Okay.
They are human. And therefore they have all the rights which are guaranteed to citizens under the Constitution. You can't deprive them, you can't take them away, take away their rights. They have the right to life, they have a right to have a relationship, they have a right to have relationship, not forcing themselves, but they are entitled to have friendship, have relationship of the way where both of them are willing. So therefore, you need to respect their constitutional rights also. We can't put ourselves on a pedestal that my morality is better than your morality. That certainly cannot be the attitude.
Sir, one more argument which came in this case, Justice G.S. Singhvi said that we are not targeting a particular community, we are making a particular act an offence, and therefore this is not a violation of Article 14.
You are making an act an offence which it cannot be an offence, which a person in legitimate exercise of his rights as a citizen is entitled to. How can you take that away? That's just another way of saying that we are treating you as a non-human. Is an LGBT not a human?
Indeed. Sir, one last question. It was said Article 19 has not been included in the petition which has been filed. The right to love is kind of expressing your own, does fall in the ambit of
Right,
Article
association.
19, indeed, sir. So, what is your opinion about that? Should that be taken?
Article 19 will also have an impact on this case.
Okay.
Why should it not be taken? I don't. This is ultra conservatism,
Okay.
and we are bringing in Victorian morality. From ages immemorial, Indian civilization is far richer than Victorian morality. I don't know. The hangover of the British is not leaving us. We can't live by our own standards.
So, do you think that India as a society is ready to accept such kind of things? Because we are very
India as a society accepted this 5,000 years ago.
Okay.
You look at Khajuraho.
So,
They were perfectly part and parcel of the society. In Khajuraho, they're having relationship with animals.
Okay.
Even that was okay.
So that might be a different narrative, sir. As a society, India is very conservative and we are not ready to adapt new ideas. So as a society, would the people of India would accept this entire concept?
People of India, 5,000 years ago, accepted this. Those were real people of India.
Okay.
Not the British who imposed the Victorian morality on us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, sir, for your enriching and enlightening words. Thank you.
Thank you.